Welcome back to Black and White. I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mark. Hey, one of the things I think we need to talk about is how blacks and white interact with cops.
Wow, that's a great subject.
I really think that's one of those topics we need to talk about because I'm going to go back and I had talked about specifically a black kid who doesn't like white guys, and one of his issues was the way the police deal with blacks compared to whites, and he felt like we get a free ticket. And I'm going to tell you something. I have never been pulled over and was worried. Never had a fear.
Yeah.
I get pulled over, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. You know, why'd you pull me over?
Right, and it's a completely different feeling when we're pulled over. We're pulled over for all kinds of nothing, and then there's a fear because you don't know if the cop that's coming up is going to just overall harass you because you're black. And a lot of times they'll stop you. Now there are a lot of really good cops out there, and I have friends who are cops who do the right thing. But there's just a few of them out there that don't do the right thing. And they'll pull you over. There's racial profiling, which is something that's talked about all the time. And you can be driving along, and all of a sudden you're getting stopped and pulled over by a cop who wants to go through, driving while black,
right.
You know, and you get pulled over because you're black, and they're going to look through your things. And we're not talking, and again, we're not talking about people who've done anything wrong. We're just talking about
regular citizens.
Middle class guy in a nice car.
Right.
You know, and if it's what is he doing in this nice car? Racial profiling. You know, and then the fear of, okay, so now they've stopped you. Are they gonna harass you? Are they gonna take you out of the car and then all of a sudden create something and then beat you up in the street? I mean, you know, and we've seen so many.
He didn't do what I told him to do.
He didn't do what I told him to do. Quite recently here in D.C., there was an old guy, and this wasn't even a guy driving. I mean, he is in a wheelchair.
I saw that.
Did you see that? He's in a wheelchair, and the cops pull him out of this wheelchair and beat him up
because
and then say he jumped at them.
But he had been drinking, but
apparently we're not sure about that. The cop said that. No one else around there said he was drinking. You know, you know, their whole story was you know, and that's done in broad daylight in front of people. So you can imagine being stopped as a black person on late at night on a road where there's nobody.
Right.
You know, and there's just that natural fear of, oh my God, what is going to happen?
What are they going to do to me?
And you know, and it is. And when I talk to a lot of my white friends, they don't, you know, they get stopped and
I'm pissed.
And they're pissed.
I'm pissed.
And they talk back to the cop.
I mean, in a minute.
It's all different. The whole attitude is different.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and it's just something that if you look through our history, way back. You know, you look back, I mean, those same cops were, a lot of the cops were at that, you know, back in civil rights, was spraying you with hoses and had dogs running at you. Right. So, you know, there's a whole kind of historical mindset that, you know, you get stopped by a cop, and this is law-abiding black citizens get stopped by a cop. Anything could happen. So
the feeling isn't that, oh man, I might have been speeding or this or that. It automatically is, oh my God, how far is this going to go?
How far could this go? Yeah,
wow.
A lot of times. And, you know, it's sad that it's like that. And again, you know, a lot of police officers are honest. You don't have to worry about that, you know, but for the few that aren't, that are on a power trip or, you know, maybe had a bad day or something, and they're pulling over and they're doing racial profiling, you know, it is an issue, and it becomes something that you could lose your life over, whether it's being shot or ending up being arrested for something that you never really did, you know, and you know, that's out there.
I remember back in the 80s that Pathfinder was the vehicle of choice by drug dealers down in our area. I lived down in Montgomery County at that time. And oh my God, every black person who was driving a Pathfinder, I would see them pulled over alongside the road. And I giggle because, you know, I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking two things. One is, if that's the car that the drug dealers are running around in, don't buy one, okay? Because you're asking to get pulled over. Second one is, you know, I'm looking and I'm thinking, damn, I know why they pulled your ass over.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing. Even to go back to that, why should we not be able to
To
buy
buy a
pacifier?
specific car. I know.
And
Right.
unless
I'm
there was
with you.
an absolute reason. Now, yeah, to take that exact thing, yeah, up and down New Jersey Turnpike, they used to stop the Pathfinders, boom, 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 just like that, because that was the car of choice. I showed them stop a family. The family had like a. I mean, it's obvious that it was like three kids in the back and
vacation or
two
something,
people,
right.
and they were stopped on the side of the road, and I know it was a Pathfinder, poor guys, they couldn't, they're not supposed to have a Pathfinder,
Right.
but their
Because of the
family,
value of it
and
or
they're
whatever.
going on up the turnpike, and they get stopped, and they were racial profiling right up and down the turnpike. It was a big issue, probably about 10 years ago. Maybe 5 years ago, probably still today, but it was a big issue, and it's that racial profiling now. Racial profiling has gotten a little easier on us black people now because we have the Arab people who seem to have taken away
Hold the
some
attention, right.
and we're like,
Yeah.
whew, we can go through an airport and we don't
Thank
really
you.
we don't get stopped or anything. But again, racial profiling against any group is bad.
I'm under the impression, and you're not going to like this,
Mhm.
TSA agents happen to be the majority of them from the airports I've been at. The majority of the ones actually doing the searches and stuff are either black or Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, do they love to take a white guy and run him through the ringer.
And maybe this is why.
And it's reversed, I recently went to Florida, and first time I had to stand in a machine and do this, okay? And then when I came out of it, I had two hair clips because I got a ponytail,
Mhm.
so I had two hair things, and the guy's like, right pocket, pull it out. And I pull it out, and he goes, oh, those are hair ties. And I said, yeah. And then they let me go. Second one, down in Florida, trying to come back home, the Hispanic guy, he goes through everything. He pulls all my stuff out. I had two records that were worth about, I don't know, around $100 a piece because they're old.
Uh-huh.
And I said, look, be careful. And he said, I'll be careful. And then he took all my stuff and ran it through. And honest to God, I felt like this was to get even. I've never done anything to anybody, okay, other than maybe said something out of place,
Mhm.
but I've never intentionally hurt or held somebody back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, okay, so this is how it works.
And probably until 9/11, 2001,
Uh-huh.
it would probably that's what was happening with the Hispanics and the blacks.
Right.
We were the ones being pulled over and taken and looking thing, and so maybe it's get even time, and this is how it is for.
Well, it
thing. And it's
sucks.
interesting
It
because,
sucks. And
even to stay on that TSA.
Yeah.
A lot of times on the news kind of focuses on the white people that this is happening to. The little girl,
exactly,
the
old woman from the time before.
Yeah. And that still is happening to. I mean, black people are still being pulled and gone through, but I guess we're just so used to it that we just don't complain as much as now the white people are complaining, and there you are on the news.
I actually saw a Middle East. Well, the white people again. I think it's a whole different mindset. White people are like, oh hell no, you're not doing this to me.
Right.
And the minorities are saying, let's get this over with so I can get the hell going where I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
But I saw a little clip where this guy was Middle Eastern, and he said, I'm going to get pulled. They're going to pull me aside regardless. So it's just I had that time in because I know I'm getting hassled.
Yeah, and I heard,
and I just smiled. I was like, wow. Okay.
We're getting pulled over, so we add in the time when we get there.
Yeah, which is pathetic. But let's go back to the cops, because one of the things that I've seen in movies, and I'm not going to keep bringing up the specific movie, but it seems to tend that black cops hassle black people more so than white cops. I mean, at least that's the vibe they give. That and I don't know that that's true. I don't know if that was just done for the art of the movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and again, you guys can write in about this, but I'm thinking that that's not necessarily the case.
I would hope not.
I actually, if I'm driving along, a black cop having to stop me, I feel more comfortable that at least I'm going to be treated fairly. Now
what if he's around a bunch of white officers?
No, that's different.
See, that's what
Because that's different, because if the white officer is harassing the black,
Where does he stand in that?
And where does he stand in that? And a lot of times they don't say anything. They just
Right.
sort of stand there.
See, that's
And-
horrible.
But again, they're fearful for whatever retaliation happens to them.
I understand.
So so if it's a white cop, black cop, white cop is leading whatever it is. You don't expect much help from the black cop.
Yeah,
Not
he's just gonna stand back
He's
and
just gonna stand
observe.
back and observe. And but if it's a black cop and he's by himself, you tend to feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, if I deserve a ticket, I'll get a ticket. But he's not going to take me out of the car and beat me up. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of the whole. And I understand. Again, I'm saying there's a third time I'm saying this. That there are a lot of really good cops out there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
I have friends who are cops.
I do too.
And and they do the right thing, and they're under pressure, and even some of the white cops that you see that may overreact or